Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. October 19th, 2024. Let's get into it. The first thing I want to do is help you out as best I can. Now, way back when I launched my cybersecurity, my failed cybersecurity business, I had to incorporate as an LLC. And I couldn't figure out how to do it, and I was in a hurry. Somebody said, well, just use LegalZoom, man. You know, let them do it. And I tell you what, I paid them a ton of money. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then, of course, you know, the business failed right away because nobody really bought the books. So anyway, I haven't been incorporated for years. It just wasn't worth it, because I just didn't have the time to relaunch the business. And so I am kind of looking at doing that. Well, right now, if you're not familiar with him, the Economic Ninja, he's got a channel on YouTube, and he's got a special going, I think, for the next 2 days. So if you get this message for $10, now he hasn't written the course yet, but he's going to teach you how to form an LLC. And I'm going to tell you what, for $10, anybody that can nurse you, because he's evidently launched a lot of businesses, you know, the Economic Ninja. And so, you know, if you're going to do any sort of business, you got to have an LLC. Otherwise, you're going to get the crap suit out of you. I'm going to tell you that right now. So anyway, check him out. Take advantage of that special. And then, you know, in a couple of months, I'm sure the material, and he said he's working with some really other, you know, attorneys and stuff that know even more than he does. So it should be a really good way to, and probably save you a ton of money. I mean, don't go to LegalZoom, go to the Ninja. So that's the first thing I wanted to get to. The next one was, I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about how colleges are having a tough time with pronouns. And I said, what the hell, what pronouns? Can you imagine? What the hell? This is something that they're wrestling with at colleges now. I mean, I swear the world's gone upside down, hadn't it? You know, and so let me explain something to you about pronouns, okay? These are narcissistic people, okay? It's just their way of having power over you. I mean, anybody that goes, you know, I'm not a it, or a she, or a he, I'm a they, or whatever, you know, I don't even know what pronouns are these days. So, but I wanted to give you my scenario for pronouns. Let's say I'm at a restaurant, and I'm sitting there, you know, and I got my food and everything, but you know what? I need some hot sauce. I need some hot sauce. I love hot sauce. And so the waitress comes by. She's got a nose ring in her nose, maybe one of them, you know, stake through her tongue. And she walks up to the table, purple hair, right? You know, and she goes, I said, excuse me, miss, and she goes, I am not a miss. I'm a they. You know what I'd do? I'd say, well, you know what? I'm not a he. I'm an asshole. You can call me asshole anytime you want. They, call me asshole. What do you think? You want to call me an asshole? And of course, I'll get thrown out of the restaurant, which is fine. I'm going to tell you what, if you own a business and you got somebody saying that to a customer, I mean, I'll tell you what, I would never go back to that restaurant, ever. And, you know, unless they fired that employee right there on the spot, which, you know, evidently not, because, you know, if this employee's walking around, you know, telling customers that they're a they, you know, that doesn't represent the business very well, now does it? Oh my God, I was like, I mean, but yeah, that's my pronoun, people. I've said it before many times, asshole. You can call me asshole. You can say, when you leave comments, say, hey, asshole, this is what I got a question about, or this is my comment on your video, you know. You need to do this, you need to do that, or, you know, always leave me information that I can use in future videos. You know, as you see, I always read my comments. All right, so that was that story. The next one was I had to chastise Colonel Douglas McGregor. Love the guy, great person, but he just can't bring himself to say it. He just put up a post, and I'll read it when I get home. But anyway, he was talking about the fact that, I mean, we're in the hundreds of thousands of dead Palestinians at this point, and he was saying that probably about 50% of them because Israel is blocking all aid to go in there, have died from disease or starvation. Tough way to go, man. Tough way to go. I'd rather have the 2,000-pound bomb that the Democrats give to Netanyahu like candy. If you haven't watched it yet, watch my previous video where I told you that Netanyahu is the Antichrist and he rules the United States. He gets whatever he wants. Air carrier groups. Of course, the Democrats, if you're Muslim, why are you going to vote Democrat? They're trying to kill all of you. You know, especially if you're a Palestinian. I mean, if you're Palestinian and vote for a Democrat, oh my God. I guess, he's not Trump. Kamala's not Trump. I don't know. What the hell? Oh my God. And then, so anyway, I told him, I said, you can't bring yourself to say the word genocide. I said, well, Colonel McGregor, as a staff sergeant or a former staff sergeant in the military, I'll say it for you. Genocide. Palestinian genocide. Genocide in Gaza. How's that for you, Colonel McGregor? Say it, call a spade, man. Man up. Man up, okay? Anyway, it just pissed me off because, it was a great post, and he brought out the good news, but I guess, I guess he assumes he'll lose some sort of credibility if he says the word genocide, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe he'll get banned off of YouTube or something. Maybe that's a concern. Anyway, leave a comment below if you think I'm right to call him out on that. So, and of course, I called out all of the right-wing talk show hosts that are shrilling for Israel to exterminate all the Palestinians. I don't know how you would want that. I don't even know a Palestinian, to be honest with you, not personally. But I don't want to see them exterminated. And I'm surprised that people do. And I'm surprised these right-wing talk show hosts want all the Palestinians dead. I mean, I guess during World War II, well, you remember the New York Times and a lot of people in the United States were going along with the Holocaust. They wanted all the Jews exterminated. So I guess, what goes around comes around, huh? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. I guess they just have no moral compass whatsoever. I mean, would you? I mean, okay, let's exterminate all the Catholics, or let's exterminate all the Christians. Well, let's exterminate, whatever. Pick, let's, pick a race. Oh man, if you're Hispanic, we got to exterminate you, because I don't know, whatever. I don't want that for anybody. And especially Arabs. Why are Arabs going along with it? I mean, I don't know. I thought that Palestinians were Arab, aren't they? I don't know. I mean, anyway, I'll shut up about that. All right, I'm going off on a tangent right here. I just passed a dude with pink pajama long pants on. And he was with a pretty good-looking woman. I don't know, man. Maybe that's the way you get to get your chicks these days. I remember when my dad, he actually wore a pink shirt to play golf in. I think I may have worn one or two every now and then. I don't remember. I don't have any now. But pink pajama pants. Am I just old-fashioned, I guess, or am I just a square dude? I mean, that just seemed bizarre to me. And by the way, I just want to tell you, my ex-wife, she's campaigning right now for Kamala Harris. Just to tell you how liberal and liberal white lady that she is. Thank God she's my ex-wife, right? Which I'm giving her a ride to the airport on Monday. Why in the hell I'm doing that, I have no idea. But anyway, we have 21 years of marriage. You just can't throw that completely away. But anyway, I'm going to tell you what, even she would not let me go out and wear pink pajama pants. I guarantee you. And she's as liberal as they come. So anyway, I'm just wondering who that woman was that was with that dude. So let's get into the next story. There's a judge in Georgia. He just ruled that no matter what, if there's shenanigans that go on in the election and the certifiers are questioning what took place, that they still have to certify the vote no matter what. So what the hell happened to Georgia, man? Georgia used to be a Republican state. You know, people there had some sanity. But I mean, somehow they keep electing that Democrat, Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp is not a Republican. That dude is a Democrat, man. And somehow Georgia just keeps electing him. I don't understand it at all. And then, of course, you know, and if you don't believe me that he's a Democrat, think about it. He's got Ratweller. I think that's what I call him. That dude, what is he, Secretary of State? You know, the guy that manages the elections? He should have been fired in 2020. We know there were shenanigans that took place in Georgia on the 2020 election, and yet he's still there. So the fact that Kemp hasn't done anything, or even come out in public and said, hey, you know, this judge, I don't know if Kemp can fire a judge, but he certainly should be publicly criticizing this, and he's not. And he's kept Ratweller in charge. That tells you right there, he doesn't want a fair election. He hates Trump. He hates Republicans. He's a Democrat. Okay, in Georgia, if anybody in Georgia ever watches this video, quit electing Democrats. Okay? Get you a good MAGA Republican in there, all right? Vet them out, vet them out. All right, so that was kind of the next story. Then we get into the Catholic gala that took place, I think it was in New York City, right? And I guess, you know, it's a roast where everybody makes jokes. And Trump was up there. And I'm gonna put it right here in the video, if I can find it. Some of those jokes by Trump were actually damn hilarious. I mean, oh my God.
It's about time. Mayor Adams, good luck with everything. They went after you. They went after you, Mayor. Yeah, boy, I knew that. 9.5 months ago, I said, you know, he just said something about it, about the administration. He's going to be indicted any moment. And guess what happened? But you're going to win. I think you're going to win. I know you're going to win. So good luck. Good luck. I don't like what they do. I don't like what they do. And these days, it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance. Anytime I don't get a subpoena, I'm very happy. They've gone after me, Mr. Mayor. You're peanuts compared to what they've done to me. And you're going to be okay. But I have to be careful, however, to understand that this will be the first time in the history of this event where jokes will be fact-checked, and they will be. And they will be. It's been a long tradition for both Democrat and Republican candidates for President of the United States to attend this dinner. It's a rule. You got to go to the dinner. You got to do it. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen to you from up there. You can't do what I just saw on that screen. But my opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful to the event, and in particular to our great Catholic community. Very disrespectful. The last Democrat not to attend this important event was Walter Mondale, and it did not go very well for him. He lost 49 states and he won one, Minnesota. So I said, there's no way I'm missing it. Actually, it was not easy for me to get here tonight. Because I wasn't going to miss this thing, no matter, I didn't care. I wasn't going to miss it. But that's true, Walter Mondale, 49 and 1. He was expected to do well, and it didn't work out. It shows you there is a God. I mean, for those people that are questioning it. I understand the real reason that she's not here is she's hunting with her running mate, spending a lot of time hunting. In any event, it's a weird. You know the word weird. They call me weird. They call JD weird. We're very solid people. This guy is calling us weird, but this was weird that the Democrat candidate is not here and with us tonight. A great New York tradition has been born 79 years ago. It was born 79 years ago, and there are some people that were here for almost that length. I know many of them, and it's not a pretty picture. Not a pretty picture. The two candidates for president are supposed to exchange good-natured barbs, and you know we get along very well. I didn't like Biden very much, and now I like him quite a bit. You know, and now I say that she's much worse than him. He was a much better candidate than her, actually. And when we hopefully win, dispose of her, I like her a lot, but right now I can't stand her. It's true. I can't stand her. I've never liked people that I was competing against. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here, guaranteed. She would have been here. Guaranteed. She would have been okay. She would have been okay with that. But I know this isn't my normal crowd tonight, because it just isn't. It's not my normal crowd. Believe me, my normal crowd is younger, has a lot more energy, but you have certain advantages too, like cash, lots of cash. But many of you are Manhattan liberals from the media and the Democrat Party. I always say the Democrat, you know, Chuck doesn't like that, he likes Democratic, and it sounds much more beautiful, the Democratic Party. I always say the Democrat Party because it sounds worse. It is true. He likes Democratic. Why don't they just change the name? This way, you know, it is Democrat. But I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come, because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy. We would recognize it any place in this room, and all polls are indicating I'm leading big with the Catholic vote, as I should be. As I should be. But I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer. That's not a pretty sight. But Catholics, please don't be too insulted by Kamala's absence. If the Democrats, thank you very much, I appreciate it. If Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden. You know, he's having second thoughts, you know that, right? He wants to come back. If she does any worse in the polls, they're going to bring him back again, I think. Chuck, he's going to do it. He's the one that got him out. That's the guy. Much more so than Crazy Nancy, I will tell you, because I know him. He did it. Joe has almost disappeared from view. The only way he could be seen less is if he had a show on CNN. They had nothing. They've got nothing. Fake news, right? Fake. That term wasn't good. You know, they say that term is no longer in vogue because it's much worse than fake. I don't want to tell you what the real name is. I won't do it, because all those cameras would shut off immediately. They don't like that. But apparently Joe didn't think it was fair for me to have the podium to myself with Kamala skipping the event. So he called, looked at me, and said, "Don't." Does anybody understand that? Yeah. I thought it was actually very good until just now. It was announced this morning that at a funeral yesterday, in a rare moment of clarity, Joe told Barack Hussein Obama that, quote, only a few people got that. Or as Rush Limbaugh used to say, Barack Hussein Obama. Remember, Barack? He was a piece of work. We miss him. But as he told Barack Hussein Obama, quote, "She's not as strong as me. She's not as strong. Do you understand that?" And Obama agreed, saying, "That's true. Other than that, I think the Democrats are getting along quite well." Right? Nobody got that one. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president. And I actually said, "Do you mind if I do that?" And he said, "No, you got to do what you got to do." He's a pro. He's a professional. No, He's a good man, actually. I hate to say it. Don't ever use it against me, please. They'll say, this dinner was really setting me back when I say it now, but I've known him a long time. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Every one of those people is voting for me. And as you may have seen, Kamala did an interview on Fox News yesterday. It went so poorly for her that the Democrats have been forced to install another 100 drop boxes throughout the city. And the upside really is Kamala now sees the benefit of deportation. She wants to deport people. She's vicious. She wants to deport people, and she wants to start by deporting Bret Baier of Fox. It's an interesting interview last night. Huh? A major issue in this race is child care, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away. That's a nasty one. That's nasty. I told these idiots that gave me this stuff, that's too tough. Oh, I did. You know, they told me the last time I did this, I was running against Crooked Hillary. And, I mean Hillary. No, I was running against Crooked Hillary and I did it. And I thought it was a roast. So I was told it's a roast. And I had the meanest guy you've ever seen write stuff up. And man, was the room angry. Even the Cardinal remembers. I went overboard. Don't you agree, Cardinal? It was like terrible. And I knew I was in trouble around midway through because, you know, people had not, even my own side was angry at me. They were saying, it's too much. But I did it anyway. I didn't give it Campaigning can take a toll on a family and family life, although I hear that Kamala and her husband carve out some really beautiful alone time at the end of the day for an intimate dinner, just Doug, her, and a teleprompter that she uses quite well. Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. There's nothing to say. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time and they shoot hard. You know, they say about presidents, they say that Andrew Jackson was the president that was the most meanly treated. His wife died. She died of heartache. She was heartbroken at the way they treated him. And they say that second was Abraham Lincoln, but he was in charge of a civil war, you know. I'd like to thank our MC this evening, Jim Gaffigan. Most recently, Jim has been playing Tim Walsh on Saturday Night Live. And that'll be a very short gig, I hope, Jim. But it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? Let's see how that lasts, right? It better be quick. We don't want him, and I'm not going to say anymore. But unfortunately, Governor Walsh isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was. I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walsh. The stupid show, The View, is so bad now that the other day I was watching it and thinking to myself, you know what? They really need to bring Rosie O'Donnell back. That show is bad. Those people are bad. I know every one of them, and they are bad news, I want to tell you.
I was laughing. I've heard him, a couple of times now, but I want to see if I can find him. Maybe he's got him posted on X when I get home, and we'll put him in the video. But that was, and then, but the reason why I'm talking about that is Kamala Harris didn't show up, which is really bizarre. I mean, that gala is made up of mostly Trump-hating people. Okay, you've got a bunch of Jews and Catholics that attend the gala. They all hate Republicans, And so it's just a throw up for Kamala Harris to go in there and make an appearance. Now, I would assume she probably doesn't have a very good sense of humor, but she could have just gone up there for just a minute and said, you know, I make a couple of jokes and then just sit back down. You know, I think Trump was up there actually a while, but I just thought that was weird that she didn't show up. And actually, if I can find the clip, the Saturday Night Live host that plays Tim Walsh on Saturday Night Live, he hates Trump. Man, I tell you what, but he actually made a joke about the fact that Kamala wasn't there, which blew my mind. You know, and he's a Kamala supporter big time. So anyway, we'll see if we can find those clips and put them into the video. So that was the next story. Geez, well, you know, the other one I want to put a plug in while I'm thinking is I was out on the motorcycle yesterday. Now, this is the time of year when you can get out in Florida on a motorcycle. And there's nothing I enjoy more than just riding around, looking at scenery and stuff, just, you know, whatever I come across, getting lost. Anyway, I came across a new hike. It's called Sunny Hill West. I didn't even know it existed. It's on Fisher Road. And, you know, I want to shamelessly plug my channel, Outdoors with Kirk on Rumble. Outdoors with Kirk on Rumble. And I'm going to be posting a lot of videos of me hiking around because there's a lot of hiking there. And let's put a couple clips in this video so you can see what I'm talking about. I was out for a motorcycle ride. I don't know if you ever do that. You just take a bunch of roads and don't know where you're going. No GPS. It's always a sense of freedom. I said, well, maybe I'll find a hike today. And I swear I've never been here before. I don't even know where I'm at. But it says the Sunny Hill Restoration Area West Track. Now, I haven't done a hiking video in quite some time, and I thought I had done all of Sunny Hill, but this entrance I've never been to before. Like I said, I don't even know where I'm at, which is good. That's the way I want it. So let's get the hike in today. There's a sign right up here. We'll get that here in the next clip. So you definitely have to figure out how to get back here. So here's the trail. I'm not going to do that today because we're going to just go this way. But let's look at the sign here. So we are here, Fisher Road Trailhead. And here's Fisher Road, which I'd never been on before. Okay, so let's see. It kind of goes in. Well, I guess you can hike around a couple of, looks like picnic areas. I don't know. That's down by the, I don't even know what river that is. 231? North Track over here. All right, well, let's just get on the trail and enjoy. All right, so that was Sunny Hill West, and I couldn't get enough video because I guess it's just still too wet from the hurricane. Anyway, but that's we'll get a video on that soon enough. All right, we get some more news here. Another crazy story was I don't know if you knew Biden is over in Germany, and I love Alex on the Duran. He calls him Pirate Schultz. Pirate Schultz. Anyway, Chancellor Schultz, or whatever they call him in Germany, Prime Minister, I have no idea what this title is. But anyway, he had to pin some sort of Medal of Valor or something on Joe Biden, which, I mean, talk about being a poodle. I mean, that guy, that's like Sean Hannity having his nose up Netanyahu's butt. I mean, you couldn't stick your nose further up somebody's ass than Sean Hannity does with Netanyahu. And here we got Schultz pinning a medal on Joe Biden, who destroyed Germany. I mean, he literally destroyed Germany. They blew up the Nord Stream pipeline and cut them off from cheap energy, deindustrialize all of Germany, and you're going to give him a medal for it. Oh my God! Talk about sniffing somebody's butt. I think maybe he takes the award away from Sean Hannity, right? Or Mark Levin. There's two butt sniffers right there. I mean, my God, can you imagine? I mean, it's like, I mean, what a poodle. I don't even, baby, what's a little teeny dog, man? I mean, maybe not, well, poodles do sniff a lot of butt. I mean, I'm trying to think of another dog that, well, all dogs sniff butt, but I mean, I can't remember that. I think some of them do more than others. Maybe leave a comment on what's the best butt sniffing dog that you can think of, because Schultz is right there with them, and of course, a few of the commentators sniffing Netanyahu's, the Antichrist's butt there. So anyway, that was one story I found entertaining. The next one was right now, if you're not following the Ukraine war, I'm just going to briefly talk about right now Kursk. You know, if you've been following it all, you know that the Ukraine invaded Russia and made some progress, and then they got halted before they could get to the nuclear power plant. And right now, the Russians have them. You know, that battle's been going on for quite some time, but right now Russia has them in a cauldron. You know, if you go watch the military summary channel, if you want all the details, and they're saying that it should be over in about 2 weeks or less. A lot of dead Ukrainians, and from what I understand, there were a lot of mercenaries in there too, from Poland, and I can't remember what other country had some mercenaries in there. So I tell you what, talk about a short life. I mean, they went over there and they got some poontang from all of the Ukrainian women, and then went to the front line and died. I'm not sure the poontang was worth it, do you? I mean, if you're going to be a mercenary, you need to pick your wars a little bit better than fighting the Russians on their own territory. You know, I mean, my God, I always thought about being a mercenary before I broke my neck and got too old, you know. I mean, the French Foreign Legion comes to mind. I mean, they take pretty good care of those guys, you know, although a lot of them die, no doubt about it. So that was the next, but the following story is, let's talk about BRICS for just a minute, and if I can find some videos when I get home that are, you know, from RT or Al Jazeera, because they'll be the only ones covering BRICS. You won't be able to get any American news.
This meeting is extremely important, not just for us personally, but for the entire planet, because it represents media with a combined audience of literally several billion people. I want to ask the first question, perhaps a generalizing one. The world is changing at such a rapid pace that we sometimes don't even have time to keep track of how different it has become. What are the main features of these changes, and what opportunities do they present for BRICS?
The most important feature is the formation of new development centers. This is the most important sign. And this development, according to experts, whom I trust very much and whose opinion I listen to, will objectively take place primarily in the BRICS member countries. This is first of all the so-called Global South. This is Southeast Asia. This is Africa. Growth, positive growth, will be in such powerful countries as China and India. Positive growth will be in Russia, Saudi Arabia. But the countries of Southeast Asia and Africa will demonstrate outperforming growth for several reasons. The first reason is the level of development of those countries in which positive dynamics are expected, but are still restrained. First of all, this is because these countries have already reached a certain level of development. Secondly, in those countries that I said that will have faster growth, they are not urbanized enough, and they have a high rate of population growth. And these two factors will undoubtedly play a key role in the formation of new centers of economic growth, followed by the development of political influence. As for such BRICS members as China, India, Brazil, South Africa, of course, the growth of their economic potential will be accompanied by the growth of their influence in the world. This is an absolutely obvious thing. The BRICS, as my colleagues, partners and friends have said many times, is 45% of the world's population, 33% of the landmass. This is natural, in fact. There is nothing wrong with it. The world is constantly changing, and there are always leaders emerging. So we should take it calmly as a given, and based on this, build relations among ourselves. What distinguishes BRICS from so many other international organizations? BRICS was never built against anyone. It was said very well by the Prime Minister of India. He said recently that BRICS is not anti-Western. It is just not Western. That's very important. That makes a lot of sense. So BRICS is not opposed to anyone. It is simply an association of states that work together on the basis of common values, a common vision of development, and most importantly, taking into account each other's interests. This is the basis on which we will work in Kazan.
How can you and Russia hosting BRICS accelerate the mechanisms for BRICS to play a far more important role, one, economically, two, in payment systems, and three, which I think is important, in politically as well? Thank you, Mr. President.
As your Egyptian colleague said, we claim and aspire to reorder the world order. We are not really striving. It happens naturally. We are simply saying that this is an inevitable process, and we must respond accordingly. After all, these new centers of power that are emerging, they are not because the Western countries brought the Ukrainian crisis to the point where everything led to the state it is in. I'll just remind you once again, in 2014, the Western countries led by the US organized, or if not organized, supported the coup d'etat. That's where the whole crisis started. And over the years, they started to push NATO in. That's where the crisis started, and the war started in 2014. But the changes in the world started earlier, and they started on a huge scale. This is what we call the creation of a multipolar world. And we just assume that it's happening. And we are contributing, and we are trying to contribute in such a way that it does not lead to destruction, but on the contrary, that everything is quietly building up in a new growing format. You say we need to be more active. How can we be more active? In our opinion, fuss is inappropriate here. We act progressively, step by step. As far as finance is concerned, we have not abandoned the dollar as a universal currency. We have been denied its use. And now 95% of Russia's foreign trade with our partners is conducted in national currencies.
BRICS, but I did want to explain to you what's happened so far. And there's been a lot of handshaking back and forth, and how a lot of nations now are going to be exchanging, everything in their own currencies. Okay, so that's what they're working out. Now, they're not establishing a BRICS currency. It's not like the dollar, okay? But what they're going to do is they're going to be able to, so, if Russia, is trading with China, the yuan and the ruble, or India, so they're going to be doing this. They're going to try to stay as much as possible and not use dollars for international trade. We already knew that India, Russia, and China were already doing it, but what I'm saying is a lot of other nations are signing on board to that, okay, at BRICS. So more and more nations are getting away from King Dollar, and so it's a start. They're still working on establishing a financial system, and on that vein, I wanted to talk about silver. Now, I'm a huge silver buff on this channel. I've been talking about silver for years now as I make videos. Well, anyway, I was just sitting around last night, and I was chilling out. I mean, I was wiped out. I don't know what the hell was going on. And I said, well, let's just check the price of silver. I popped over, and my eyes popped out of my head, man. I was like, what the hell? I was going, what the hell happened? I mean, silver went over, it blew right through $33 an ounce. It was like a 7% increase. Imagine having an investment where in one day it goes up 7%. I was like, what the hell? And I own, through Sprott and their ETFs and stuff, I own a lot of silver. I had to go in and run my balances. I was like, damn, I made some serious cash on this. But and by the way, currency, I'm not making any money. But that currency I can still use it to pay bills and hopefully, pay off that loan that I had to take to pay off my house. But anyway, I was like, holy moly. So people had made a run. So I was going, well, what happened, right? Are you asking that question? Why would it go up so much in one day? Well, I didn't know, but Russia at BRICS, I guess, and maybe it was before BRICS, I'm not sure, but they've announced that they are going to use silver as a basis for this new currency, or their currency, just like gold. The dollar used to be based on gold, okay? And so the new BRICS currency, in some fashion, it's going to be based on commodities. But they came out and they said that silver is going to be one of the foundations for the currency, and they bought up a whole bunch of it. I mean, a whole bunch, from what I understand. And that's why it took off like that. Well, I'm wondering if this is the big move, because, I mean, I'm going to tell you that the silver shortages are out there. Like I told you, the big silver mines are gobbling up the little silver mines. I made some good cash there, because I own some of those little silver mines. No longer little. they're big now. But, so, man, I'm telling you, you missed the boat. Now, Ninja said he'll never buy it again unless it's below 30. But what I want you to kind of start thinking about, and I was hoping to have longer to keep purchasing silver, because I couldn't buy any for the last couple of months because I just didn't have the money. But anyway, so what I want you to think about is start watching that ratio between gold and silver, okay? Because right now, I still want to say, even at 33, it might be below, it's still 85 to 1 or something like that. But when it gets down to 15 or even 25 to 1, then it's time to start selling your silver.
Now, amid warnings of a gloomy economic outlook in the United States, analysts from the Bank of America say gold might be the only option by Washington to tackle the looming crisis.
Gold looks to be the last safe haven asset standing, incentivizing traders, including central banks, to increase exposure. Ultimately, something has to give. If markets become reluctant to absorb all the debt and volatility increases, gold may become the asset of choice. Central banks, in particular, could further diversify their currency reserves.
Now, with rising national debt and struggling markets, inflation and volatility are hard to escape from. Now, analysts also predict another high debt for the country, as neither of the presidential candidates are looking at reducing spending. Now, this comes as the price of gold has risen by more than a third over the last year, now amounting to above $2,700 per ounce. Now, world currencies, especially the US dollar, are affected by all sorts of factors like instability and conflicts, whereas the yellow metal is a more stable asset. Now, as we look at what's going on right here, that's why Russia, China, Turkey, and even others have been ramping up their gold reserves for the past several years, also to reduce the usage of the greenback. Now, Professor of Economics and Politics at St. Mary's College of California, Jack Rasmus, says the cloudy outlook for the American economy, he sees and predicts what's going on.
The U.S. and the G7 are facing a greater challenge with the BRICS and an alternative financial structure that's coming, which means less demand for the use of dollars in global trade, which means less, or reducing value of the dollar. If the dollar reduces in value, then all the foreign buyers of treasuries are going to have less demand for treasuries, which means that the Federal Reserve is going to have to raise interest rate to attract that flow, recycling of dollars back to the U.S., which is the way the U.S. has been covering these trillion-dollar deficits, over $7 trillion under Trump and over $7 trillion under Biden. So both of them, both candidates, have a record of excess deficits and debt, and it's unknown how far the U.S. can go with that. But we do know, with all the uncertainties, I feel with all the uncertainties, the economy is going to slow in the U.S. next year. Tax revenues will slow as a result. The deficit will continue to grow as a result, and there will be a major effort to cut social programs to make up for the deficit, and that will slow the economy even more.
And converting it into what I thought about doing was taking the silver, and if platinum stays low, I'll convert it into platinum. Now, you could go with gold because the ratio is down low enough, or what Ninja's going to be doing, he's going to be buying up real estate. And I don't know enough about real estate to venture into that. Now, I could take his course and learn more about real estate, but I don't know. I think I'll stick with my my mining stocks, the things that I know, you know, and also hopefully when the stock market crashes, which I think we'll see the stock market cut in half here before too long. Real estate's already crashing right now. In some places it's down 40%, because I've been following some channels on YouTube. So, you know, it's getting to be a really good time. Probably by around June, you can get out and pick up real estate for pennies on the dollar, and I still might do that. But the main thing is to take that silver and convert it into something that's going to make money for you. You know, maybe you want to buy up a business on the cheap, you know, because a lot of businesses are going to go out of business. Or, you know, what I know I'm going to be doing is when that stock market goes down by at least 50%, I'm going to wait till then. There's a list of stocks that I have that I'm going to pick up. Hopefully I'll be picking them up nice and cheap. You know, I might go back into Berkshire Hathaway. By the way, he sold everything. If you haven't been following along, he's gotten rid of most all of his stock at this point. He's completely in cash and short-term treasuries right now. So he's already divested it. You know, and he has to do it little by little, otherwise, you know, people will notice. But especially Bank of America, I think he sold most all of that. That was one of his biggest positions, along with Apple, I believe. And so anyway, so Berkshire Hathaway is positioned. And so when I see the big boys like Buffett jumping back into the stock market, and I'm going to follow. I mean, that's one. If you wanted to let's just go with a strategy for you, for example. Okay, you might want to just wait. And when Berkshire Hathaway goes in and they buy a big position in something, they have to declare it. Well, wouldn't that be a good time for you to take a position in whatever Berkshire Hathaway's buying, right? I mean, don't count Buffett out. He's a smart dude, man. He knows what he's doing. He's played this rodeo 3 times now, so he's going to be playing it again. So that's, you know. So I would just, you know, if you don't know a damn thing about buying stock, I mean, of course you got to have a brokerage account. You can do that. Just walk into a Fidelity office and give them $1, and you can have a brokerage account, you know. But and Fidelity is one of my favorites. I like Fidelity. Anyway, that's who I'm with. I'm just going to tell you. But so yeah, just watch what the big boys are doing and do what they do. You'll probably do all right, especially if he's buying into dividend stocks. Because if you can pick up some good dividend-paying stocks on the down low, you know, whether they go up or down, it doesn't matter, right? You've established a nice income stream for your money, and you picked it up dirt cheap. Just saying. All right, the next topic I wanted to talk about was Kamala Harris. She just did an interview with Charlemagne. Is it Charlemagne the God? I think that's what he calls himself. What a name, isn't that great? That CyberSecurityGuy the God. No, it doesn't work for me. I don't know. I just can't make it work. Charlemagne the God. But anyway, so I guess somebody called in and they were talking about black people or something. And she goes, you know, that's right. If Trump gets elected, he's going to round up all the black people and put them in concentration camps. I was like, what the hell? I mean, is there actually people out there that would believe so? I mean, he's already been president for 4 years. In fact, he helped the blacks more than any other president in history. Remember, he helped out the NAACP, and you know, good Lord, it gave black businesses a hand up. You know, not a handout, a hand up. I mean, it was crazy. So, I mean, you've already got that proof, but are there people really that stupid? And if there are, don't you think we need some sort of IQ test for people to be able to vote? I mean, if anybody's that dumb, I don't think they should be voting. You know, I mean, what do you think? I mean, my God, if somebody's going to believe that, why are we letting them vote, right? Oh, my goodness gracious. Just saying. You know, I'm sure you're aware that the leader of Hamas, they got him. I'll try to find his name, put it above in the video. But, and of course, all the the right-wing commentators are going on about, you know, this is the reason why we don't want Israel to stop. They must keep going. Well, you know what? I don't know if you're familiar with the way he died. He was out. He wasn't hiding in a cave or underground or in a tunnel. He was out with his fighters fighting. In fact, there's a video. I don't know if it's true. It's a drone, and there's a guy sitting in a chair, and he throws a stick at the drone. I guess it was like his final act of bravery before he died. So all of this, you know, to me, this reflects badly on Israel. Because, you know, that's the whole excuse for blowing up the hospitals and the schools and the tent camps is that they say that Hamas is embedded with the civilians. Well, if the Hamas leader is out fighting Israelis rather than hiding, you know, in a hospital, next to a hospital or in a tent camp, doesn't that kind of invalidate Israel blowing up all of those civilians, saying that they're human shields? I don't know. You tell me. I'm just saying, that seems to me to reflect badly on Israel. The fact that they're finding the Hamas fighters out fighting them rather than hiding among the civilians. Just saying.